All right, welcome to this week's Unknown Files show, file number 18, Ghost of New England. Are you ready? Let's start the show. All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Unknown Files show, brought to you in part by our good friends down at Revelton Distillery in Osceola, the official spirits of the Unknown Files show. Hi, Mike. What's up? Good evening, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Let me go to the phones. We're going to have a fun show for tonight. We're going to be talking about Ghosts of New England with our buddy Tom D'Agostino. So let me get him on there. One ring-a-dingy. And we'll get him on and we'll start the program. Tom, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Tom, welcome to the Unknown Files show, sir.
Yes, hi. Great to be on.
Well, we appreciate you coming and taking an hour and talking to us about some spooky stuff. Let me say, Russell, good evening. Good to see you. Mike, thank you so much for watching us on Facebook Live. We appreciate that. So, hey, Tom, I was doing research for the show. We started doing the show back in January, and I grew up with just reading about ghosts and Bigfoot and UFOs and all that other fun stuff, and came across your books, and I reached out to you, and I really appreciate you getting back with me.
Oh, no problem. Awesome.
So, how did you get into this mess?
Oh, many years ago, I grew up in a haunted house, and I really enjoyed reading stories about ghosts and the unknown. And when I was in college, I was 22 years old. My friend bought a house and said, "Hey, you want to stay there during the winter? Just watch it over." And we lasted 6 days because the place was so active that I couldn't study.
Really? What
Yeah.
what kind of stuff would happen?
Well, we'd hear noises in the second floor. I was on the third floor. I was staying there with a friend. We'd hear noises on the second floor of banging around, but nobody was there. Doors would open and close. One night we were just all sitting there, and something bolted up the stairs, and all that blew by us was a wind. Things like that. Apparitions.
You actually saw things?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, how did that make you feel?
It was pretty cool. I mean, that's when I started studying. In college, I started studying all kinds of sciences, everything from meteorology to sociology to psychology to astronomy, all kinds of stuff to kind of get any kind of idea of what's going on.
Yeah. Now, New England just seems like I just had John Zaffis on the show last week, and
Oh yeah.
and nice man. I really enjoy visiting with him, and he was telling me about a lot of the paranormal stuff that with his aunt and uncle with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and then with him that they went
Oh
out.
yeah. Yep.
Why is that area so saturated with paranormal activity?
Well, it's the oldest permanently settled area, and because the English, when they came here, they drove out the French. There was battles and wars, and you had King Philip's War, which was the bloodiest war per capita ever fought on American soil,
Uh huh.
and it left scars everywhere. I mean, they didn't just get Indian soldiers and English soldiers. They were burning villages, killing women and children, everything like that. It was very, very brutal. They just wanted to decimate each other.
Yeah, that's pretty horrible, isn't it? I
Yeah.
and what was the French Canadian War? Was that was part of the New England area too, wasn't it? Didn't they? Didn't he?
Yeah, after the English drove out the Indians, they had already driven out the French. So the French were like, "Hey, you guys, you've been driven out too. Let's go get them."
So it all started again.
Yeah, it kept going and going. And also, because of the glacial dump we have, the glaciers came, and there's a lot of underground streams and quartz in New England. And as we know, that's a natural battery. You get the quartz crystals they use in watches and everything else.
So it just keeps everything revved up, huh?
I guess so. Yeah. something like that.
So
But
did
yeah, a lot of scarring of the land and stuff.
yeah. So did you ever investigate or go back and research that house it all started for you at to see what happened or what the history was?
Well, he sold it, and then they said it wasn't much, but it sat in between two cemeteries, which means any of the activity. There was a few people who did die in the house because it was a very old house, but there's two cemeteries there, and they the people who bought it after him, not much happened, but the people after that, they were telling me that yeah, they sold it quickly because there was stuff going on.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy. Well, how many books have you written? I mean, you got a guide to haunted New England, Connecticut ghost stories, haunted Vermont. How many in total have you done?
we're working on our 18th book now. Actually, the 18th book is coming out in August. We're
Wow,
working on I think number 19.
wow, that's great! Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
What's going to be the title?
The title of the new book is called Haunted Route 44.
Haunted
Uh,
Route 44.
yeah, Route 44 runs from Plymouth, Massachusetts, of course, where the Pilgrims landed,
Yeah.
all the way into Kerhonkson, New York, 237 miles.
Wow.
And we did the whole thing, and visited as many places as that were to visit, and places also along the way. Not exactly right on the road, but in the town that close by you can see too.
So how many when you had that experience? So when you go out and do these other books, when you go out and you interview people or you investigate the buildings or whatever, what other activity have you personally seen?
We have actually seen, like I said, apparitions. We've captured EVPs and had things move. I've been had my face cut open. My wife has been picked up.
She literally got picked up.
Yeah, right in front of people while we were walking. Yep, she was all of a sudden like 8 feet tall.
Really?
It
What
was rough.
how did she feel about that?
She said it felt like just a large round ring of ice grab her and pick her up, and then she temporarily lost consciousness.
Wow.
She fell to the ground, and then she, like that kind of thing. I guess it was just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
The other investigators who were with us, they ran.
Well, I guess I would have ran too. I don't think I got to worry about it. I weigh 250 pounds, so that's going to have to be a strong ghost to pick me up.
Well, yeah, we ended up doing the investigation without them, just the two of us.
Wow, that's crazy. After she got picked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
she's brave.
oh yeah, 120 pounds of.
That,
Yeah, but don't let her size fool you.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So one of the things that when I was doing some research on what you guys do, you get into ghost ships and stuff, and you just don't hear a lot of people talking about phantom ships or ghost ships like they used to back in the '60s and '70s, like when I was little. They're pretty. That's a fascinating phenomenon to me.
It is. It is very. I mean, really wild.
How did you get into finding out about the maritime ship lore and legends, or did you ever talk to anybody that actually had pictures or anything?
Well, no. We growing up in New England in Rhode Island, that's the ocean state they call it.
Right.
So, there's so many stories and stuff, and going down to the docks. We're like 25 minutes. We grew up, or 30 minutes from any of the docks, and then there's the stories. The old, like you said, the old stories of the ships and the tales, and we started visiting all these places like Gloucester and
Yeah,
places like that, and hearing some more stories, and it's kind of cool. I've never seen a ghost ship that I can remember, but
yeah, that would be pretty neat. Gloucester's lost a lot of fishermen over the years, haven't they?
well, while we were there, they lost a few more.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, we were there for like a week, and one of the boats went missing, and at the end of the week, another boat got caught in the rigging.
So they found them.
They did, yeah, which
Yeah,
was very sad.
that is very sad. Yeah. Hi, Hank, how you doing? Rick, good to see you. Lawrence down there. Laureates, how you doing there? Wenthy down there in Kansas, good to see you. Captain Gary up in Minnesota. Always appreciate you listening. And Gary, I'll see you next week in Minnesota, buddy. Can't wait to see you. So that's good. Thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. Um, so Tom, let me ask you. If I ever get a chance to go up to New England, I have not had the opportunity to do that, but there's a lot of things that I would like to go check out. First thing are the pubs. I saw that you've written several accounts about pubs, and there's a lot of activity in pubs all across the world, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spirits more than what's behind the bar. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess. What do you? I mean, people just they have a favorite watering hole, or for a lot of folks. I mean, that's just part of their daily routine. I guess they after they pass on, they don't want to give it up, huh?
Well, also these pubs were taverns and inns where people stayed, like the Concord in Concord, Mass, the Colonial Inn. That was a tavern and a doctor's office also, and he operated on the people who were wounded in the shot heard around the world. And that it also served as a morgue there too. So now it's an inn, and it's haunted. It's very haunted. It's one of the most haunted in Massachusetts because of the fact that it became that later.
Yeah.
The haunted house that became an inn, the tavern on Main in Chepachet, has been haunted because of all the things that happened there. The people dying. I mean, some of them. You got a pub like that, and people are getting shot.
Well, I've actually heard of the Colonial Inn. That's like a big white. Is that like a big white building?
Yeah, in fact, we're doing a documentary for Fox Nation there next week.
Yeah, yeah, I've actually heard of that a couple times over the years. Don't they? And Tom, correct me if I'm not remembering this right, but don't they have like a Haitian soldier or something running around they see once in a while in there?
It could be a Hessian one. I know the what is it? The Benton Homestead has a Hessian soldier that's seen in Connecticut.
Okay.
That's not a bar. It's just was a private home. But they do see a Revolutionary soldier in there. They see what looks like they think is a nurse, a woman, a man in a top hat, an older woman. We actually do ghost hunt investigation dinners there.
Really?
Yeah.
Walk me through one of those. What's the dinner like? Do you guys have like roasted chicken, seafood? What's the grub like?
Well, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, and these restaurants that we do these in, or inns or taverns, they're like, four-star food.
Okay.
So it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, with dessert and coffee and all kinds of stuff. Vegetarian. If people need special needs, like vegan or something, we cater to it. And we'll go over the history of the inn and the haunts, and we give them a handout too that tells it, so they have it for later. We have our dinner. We give away door prizes too. We give away like 15 or 16 different cool door prizes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do these, I guess with going back to the shot heard around the world, that was when that was basically almost the start of the Revolutionary War, right?
Yes.
So they and I can't remember the exact place. It wasn't Bunker Hill. It was
That was the North Bridge, they called
yeah,
it.
the
It
north
was
there.
a mile away.
Yeah, there you go. So do they see colonialists there, or are they seeing British? Because it was the not the Minutemen. I don't think the Minutemen were there yet, but was it just are they seeing colonialists and Britain soldiers there in that type of setting, or what are they
Yes.
seeing?
Yes, and we actually record them speaking too. We recorded them because during these investigation dinners, all the people break into groups after we show them how to use the equipment, and we get the most haunted places in the end to investigate.
Wow. So how do you can you just I mean do they come across with like an English accent or how do you know they're how do you know and I'm just asking Tom I'm not trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
please don't take it like I'm being rude or anything. How do you know they're colonialist or Britain from an EVP? Can you just tell from the way they're speaking?
Actually, um, the English and the Americans spoke the same way, almost the same way we speak right now. In fact, the Midwest dialect is what they were mostly sounded like.
I got you. Okay.
It was later on that the English people began to speak the way you hear them now. It was the 19th century. They dropped their R's and everything to be different, and the wealthy ones did it to sound different, and then everybody started doing it because they wanted to sound like they were wealthy.
I got you. I got you.
So what we get though is we get things that'll say "I'm dead," "I've been shot," the copse of trees and stuff like that, and we know that when the British were retreating, the Continentals they were all British, but
Right.
when the regulars were retreating, the Continentals were shooting at them from everywhere, including this copse of trees down nearby, where a few of them got killed.
Gotcha. What about? I mean, when you're at the pubs or the inns and stuff, I mean, do you guys ever? Do they have like security footage inside the bar or the inn where they have chairs or anything moving? Have you seen anything like that?
We actually have all the cameras going too. When we do these investigations,
Uh huh.
we have cameras going in the rooms that are haunted, and uh, that way, if something does happen, yeah, we will. We'll get it. We've had. It was kind of funny because we've had a few things like that happen. We've had one of them where my wife is in the room that was the operating room, and the flashlight all of a sudden turned on the mantle by itself. And it's not one of them cheap ones. It's actually a mag light. You have to spin it.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, we don't use the cheap ones that you can play games with because if I need a flashlight, I want it to. It's got to be something that's going to work when I need it.
Right. No, I get that. I get that. So what have you caught on as far as stuff moving around or I mean it doesn't happen all the time. It just when you get it. I mean it's still got to be pretty fascinating.
Oh, it's amazing. We caught one recently at the public house. Our camera's a motion sensor. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at the footage, and then the camera goes on. It starts up, and I'm going, "There's nobody in that room. What would you know?" And it was the stables, but the stables now have dining tables in them. It's part of the dining area.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and all of a sudden, you see this wavy form moving along the side of the tables toward the camera.
Wow. So it just moved?
Yeah, so the camera actually caught this, whatever it was, and started up so we could see it.
Right.
So it's a motion sensor. So you got this like weird opaque figure moving toward the camera. And then we caught one actually getting up out of a chair. This was years ago at the Tavern on Main, getting out of a chair, walking around the corner to where the stables were once. You can actually see like the arm, like the fluffy sleeve coming out of the coat.
Really? So it's like like their overcoat, the white lace or you can see all that on the arm and stuff.
Yeah, you can see that it looks like the arm with the black sleeve, and then the whitish lace thing, coming out of the near the wrist, and it looked like they're holding a lantern or something. It's really, and we tried to replicate these like 100 times, and we couldn't even come close.
So you always try to debunk everything.
Oh yeah, you have to. I mean, because we've had stuff happen, and I'm going, wait a minute, that just happened again. That's a headlight.
Yeah, yeah.
With the small windows, this was a continuous movement, and the small windows in the tap room. If it was a headlight, it would have disappeared, came back, disappeared, came back. We even had my friend he drove a Mack truck, turning around in the driveway across the road. This because it was so tall to see if the lights would shine in there, and all they did is just shine. This was the size of a human body, and not like just brilliant light shining in the room.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What about when you guys spend the night? Did you guys? I mean, I know you said your wife got picked up. I mean, what other have you guys gotten? I mean, do they yank on the beds? Or I mean, besides keeping you up all night making noises, what else are you guys seeing?
Oh, we've seen, well, when we were at the public house, we get room 40, which is the most haunted room.
Yeah.
And we investigated, so we stayed there for the night. And one night she woke up at 2:30 in the morning because somebody was walking in the hallway. There's a hallway, then there's a parlor area because it's like a suite. She said someone's just walking around in the room. And I'm like, it couldn't be. I locked the door, I latched the door, and it's the only room on the third floor. And so I checked it. Yeah, door's latched. All the windows are closed because it's winter out. And the next day, the people downstairs said, "Hey, you guys were up late." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Well, at 2:30 in the morning, someone was banging around up there, and then they were rocking in a chair."
So they could hear all
And
that downstairs.
yeah, but the thing is, I told him is the floor is carpeted, and there's no rocking chair.
Oh, that's crazy. So just kind of like a residual thing.
Yeah, because a lot of people say they hear a rocking chair in the past, and I'm like, "There's no rocking chair up there."
Wow. So what's your favorite places? I mean, you live in Rhode Island, right?
Actually, Connecticut
You,
now, right on the Rhode Island border, though.
okay. Of all the places that like up there, what's your favorite places to go?
The favorite places that we've, the Ramtail Factory, which we wrote a whole book on solely. We love going to the Public House, the Concord Colonial Inn, and different like villages. Like Ramtail is a village, Dogtown is another village.
Do they still have like cobblestone streets, or am I saying that right?
Yeah, no, they're more paths.
Okay.
And you'll see like cellar holes and foundations and bits and stuff like that. They're like hundreds of years gone.
Do you ever pick up like carriages or anything like we'd be back in the 1700s on the streets?
We had when we were in Barrahack a long time ago. I was with my friend Bob and my wife at the time, and we were in the cemetery, which is a good half a mile at least up from the beginning of the village area. And we're sitting, in the cemetery and just goofing, and we hear a horse and wagon coming. And I'm thinking, wow, it's the 4-H camp that's down the road because these trails are still there,
Uh-huh.
dirt roads. And I'm just, let's go and you could see the woods were sparse, so it's not like anybody could hide. So I said, let's just go out and tell them, we hope we're not trespassing and we're just hiking and, we're adults. What the heck? We're not partying. Well, we're standing there and this horse and wagon passes right by us, but we never saw a thing.
But you heard it, but you didn't see it.
Right. And we heard it get close, go by us, and then disappear down the trail again.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, my friend was like, wow, he was white, and he goes, "You think we should get out of here?" And I'm like, I'm not following that. You can
Oh,
go. I'll wait a few minutes.
wow. So, Vermont. What? Tell me about Vermont. I mean, is it the same type of phenomena, or is it mostly like a lot of the places, Tom, that you write about? Can folks go in there and look, and then go check them out themselves?
Yes, actually, we try to write about places that everybody can visit.
I
I
got you.
remember growing up reading ghost stories. It's like this house and that house and this, but you couldn't visit them, And so I wanted to go do places that everybody could go and enjoy, and then maybe say something happened. They can email us and go, "You wouldn't believe what happened."
Yeah. Now, do you guys? What about like when you said you were in Gloucester and stuff? Anything out on the wharfs or anything? Local legend or people that they see, they see stuff that's residual. That they it's. I mean, it's documented.
Well, that's where they saw the Alice Mar, the ship, the Alice Mar, out there on the water, and the the real crow's nest was supposed to be haunted, but nothing happened while we were there. All the people were nice though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie The Perfect Storm, they made a fake crow's nest across the street because they had to. It's a tall ship building,
Uh huh.
and they just needed to get all the booms and lighting and stuff like that in there. Where the actual crow's nest is just a regular building.
I got you. Well, I
But
mean, the majority of the time, I mean, when you go to places, I mean, it is quite. I mean, you don't have stuff happen every time, do you?
no, and the funny thing is, I mean, we have my wife and I. We're very like, I don't know how to put it, but she's very nice. She attracts everything, and we use tarot cards also to field questions. She's been using them for years,
Yeah.
and it helps. But yeah, we've been to places and nothing happened, and people going, "Are you crazy? That's the most haunted place in the universe." Well, maybe they didn't feel like speaking to us tonight.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that from a lot of folks that when you go on a lot of this stuff, don't expect something to happen because not a lot of times it is quiet during the time you're there.
I always make a joke that, as we're leaving, they'll be going, behind the fella, doing all this stuff as we're walking out the door.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's funny. Hey, Tom, hang on. I got to take a real quick break. You mind holding through?
No problem.
All right, you hang in there. We're visiting with Tom Dagostino. He is an author with 18 books, and 18's coming out here pretty soon. We'll pick up the conversation when we come back. It's the Unknown Files Show right here on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Whether it's camping, hunting, or fishing, you want your camping setup to be easy and your stay as comfortable as
What's
possible.
going on, everybody?
Camp Right has been helping folks enjoy the outdoors as problem-free as possible since 1999. Camp Right employees are outdoor enthusiasts that use and design each product to make sure your adventures are ones you'll want to remember. They carry great tents like the original tent cot that started it all. This fully enclosed, off-the-ground sleep shelter combines the comfort of a standard sleeping cot with the added protection of a tent. Camp Right features several models of tent cot units, including single and double units. They also specialize in sleeping bags, camping tables, cooking prep units, chairs, and other fine quality outdoor products. With over 17 years of field testing, great outdoor gear products.
If you guys got any questions for Tom, message me and I'll ask him for you.
But also carefree. Check out all these Camp Right products at your local Sportsman's Warehouse or anytime on the web at campright.com. That's campright with a K.com.
Are you into hunting, fishing, camping, or tailgating? If you are, we'd like to introduce you to Arctic Ice. Arctic Ice is a brand new way to keep your game, beverages, and camping supplies cold and fresh wherever your adventure takes you. Arctic Ice Packs are a rugged ice substitute that maintains low temperature longer than a bag of ice and does not have the slushy mess that can contaminate what's in your cooler. If you like to hunt or fish, look at the Alaskan Series or Arctic Ice Packs that will keep your game or fish at 34 degrees for 3 to 4 days. If you're wanting to
ask you, Mike.
mix things up, try the Tundra Packs that can keep your wild game and fish at
Mike, where are you from? You from Pennsylvania? Let me know. Just, you know how my memory is.
Beverages of choice at frosty cold temperatures 4 times longer than what a bag of ice can. If you want your game, fish, or camping goods to stay fresh and cold as possible without the mess of regular ice, go check out Arctic Ice Packs today.
You're heading out on your morning hunt well before sunrise, so you can stay undetected from that giant you've been chasing all season. Wouldn't it be nice to know exactly where your stand or blind location is without letting anyone know where you're at walking in? Have you ever heard of Onyx? Latrobe, Pennsylvania, Mike? Important pieces of hunting gear that you can use and always have with you. The Onyx Hunt app allows you not only to get from your truck to your hunting spots, it also allows you to mark and save your parking spots, scrapes, food plots, rub lines, or some possible next stand locations. The Onyx Hunt app is also a great way to see your property and know where you stand. Onyx is a mobile app that you can take anywhere. It's recognized by game wardens all around the country as a valuable hunting tool. So, if you want to always know where you are and have the ability to save information that will help you be a better hunter, go download the Onyx Hunt app at your app store today. Heading on
Last one, everybody, coming back.
For some snacks to take, why not pack a snack that tastes great, gives you protein, and is easy to pack? Have you heard of Soldier Boy beef jerky? Soldier Boy jerky is slow smoked in small batches to ensure generous, tender morsels that taste outstanding. Soldier Boy beef jerky offers the following flavors: sweet heat, original, maple, or peppered flavors that will satisfy you all day in the field. Soldier Boy beef jerky is veteran-owned and proud supporters of the Canines for Warrior Foundation. They also donate to troops that are deployed serving our country. So next time you're looking for snacks from home or on your next outdoor adventure, please remember to reach for some Soldier Boy beef jerky, available at Sportsman's Warehouse. Soldier Boy beef jerky, outstanding taste that keeps you satisfied in the field. For more information, please check us out online at www.sbjerky.com. All right, welcome back to the Unknown File Show. This is Outdoors Dan. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday night all across the good U.S. of A. My guest is Mr. Tom Dagostino. He is an accomplished author, and we're talking a little ghost action tonight. Tom, thanks for holding through on there. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
All right, Mike in Pennsylvania wants to know, have you ever had any scary demonic experiences?
Actually, we've had a few. I don't know if we did. we helped somebody with an exorcism one time of a house, and it was pretty interesting. But we've also had a few, I call them negative, because I don't know if they were demonic or just angry.
Yeah.
Like when I got my face not cut open, or when you have something flying at you, like that's very dangerous, like a knife or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a lot of fun, would it?
No.
No, not. I really have no interest in getting involved in that kind of stuff. I mean, I've seen some stuff I just can't explain ghost wise. I mean, I don't. I mean, I know what I've seen and I believe what I saw. But when it comes to that other stuff, it's like, you know what? You have a good day, and I'm just going the other way.
Yeah. The thing is, with people, most people are nice.
Yeah.
So that little percentage of the ones that aren't nice, I guess, when they die, can be, not nice ghosts.
Well, you know what? That's a great point. I mean, if not everybody's nice, so I guess when you pass on, there's going to be some grumpy ghosts, grumpy people as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess we've encountered a few of them.
I love I love the history of the Revolutionary War. The older I get, the more I read about that and the Civil War and stuff like that. So when you start talking about some of the colonials and the Britons, the British soldiers and the Haitians, the Haitians, they were called, were they transcripts? Is that what they called them? Where they hired them to fight?
Yeah, they hired the German soldiers. They are actually mercenaries or soldiers for hire.
Right, there you go. How many of them? How many of them were on U.S. soil at the time? Has anybody ever said that?
No, I'm not sure, but I do know in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, there's a battlefield that's called the Hessian Hole, where a bunch of them were killed and they were buried there. And certain times of the year or something, you can see like a mist and a smoke rising, and you can see some of the soldiers supposedly rising out of the ground.
Wow. Now, is that where the legend of Sleepy Hollow came from? Is that where Washington Irving got the idea for that story?
Yeah, actually, he got the idea from a battle that took place near there. And a Hessian soldier did actually lose his head. In fact, Christopher Rondina was really into that story and everything. He actually went to Germany, and he, in his remake of the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, plus his, finding out the soldiers, he found out the guy's name was Hans Renge or something like that.
The guy that Washington Irving based that on?
Yeah, it was an actual documentation that a Hessian soldier lost his head by a cannonball.
Yeah, Rick and I.
Right down the road.
Rick Seeker said, Rick's from Iowa. He said he was just thinking about the same thing. Thanks, Rick. I don't, hey, that just popped in my little brain. It's like, because like I said, that stuff's always been, I love that stuff, reading about that stuff growing up, and I could see how that could just with all the history there, I could see why things are kind of weird. Have you ever been into like any of the I don't know, like you probably don't go to. Did you ever go to Philly, like where the original Congress was, or where the?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever investigate anything in there? Did you ever hear anything happen in there?
No. It was a friend's wedding taking place there for the weekend, so we more or less, the only spirits we saw were the ones that
little brown bottles. Yeah.
But we went in there and everything, and I didn't even think about it, or else I would have brought a recorder or something,
where the Liberty Bell is, and where the original Congress and stuff, that would be easy. That would be pretty fascinating to go in there. I know, like in where you guys are in Connecticut and in Rhode Island and stuff. A lot of these older libraries are very active, aren't they?
Yeah, some are, because number one, they are very old. Number two, a lot of them have books that were donated many years ago, which probably had energy, that was embedded in them or transferred into them from the people who loved them. And some of them were like other things turned into libraries, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
See, I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, or just west of St. Louis, actually. And the Daniel Boone home is right there, pretty close to where I grew up. So I used to go over there quite a bit when I first got into radio, and we worked with them at the radio station. But basically, what they did is they rebuilt Daniel. It was his actual home in Fimy Osage, Missouri, and they had the original. They had like the kitchen, and they reconstructed the village, like when he first settled there. But some of the stuff in the kitchen and like they had these real long metal bed warmers, and I heard they were saying that sometimes they would hear those bed warmers like fall or shake or rattle. I imagine you guys have had some of that kind of experience as well, right?
Yeah, actually, we live in a haunted house, and it's been documented by not only us but almost everybody who's ever visited us, and all the neighbors.
What happens there? What happens there, Tom?
Well, we get both a residual and intelligent spirits. It was a convalescent home many years ago,
Uh-huh.
and we've actually seen when the person who had it before us died. The day of his funeral, the neighbors saw him standing on the balcony.
Really?
Yeah, and then someone saw him walking up the stairs, and we've actually seen a short man, who we think might be this guy Phineas G. Wright, because his grave is in the cemetery down the road, and his actual face is in the grave, like he sat for it, and we've seen him. We've seen a woman, and I think the residual one is the children who say "mom," and that run and laugh through this first hallway and tackle each other.
You get that on EVPs?
We got a few things once, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's so random that I can't record all the time, but we have a very big, thick book of all the incidents that had happened. Even our neighbors. One came over the house. I had fixed his car. He was in a walker. He was an older man,
Uh-huh.
and so he bought a case of beer for me, and I had to go get it, because he couldn't. And he came to knock on the door, but I was out running.
Uh-huh.
And when he looked in the kitchen, he saw a short man and a boy glowing, and they started walking toward him. And the neighbors said they saw him running across the yard with the walker over his head.
Well, they probably wanted some beer.
Yeah, I guess I know. Well,
Yeah. But I mean, you guys have got to have some just old gravestones, like back from the 1700s in those areas. They go way back, don't they?
Yeah, in fact, Rhode Island has 3,300 cemeteries.
3,300?
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't have garden cemeteries and everything, so the people buried their loved ones on their property.
Yeah. Wow. And Rhode Island's not that big either, Tom, is it?
No, it's like 47 by 39 or 38 miles.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small state. What's up, Grant Neal? Congratulations on that bear, buddy. Good going. You and Josh, man. Good going. I just, like I said, there's so much history there. I'm really jealous. It'd be neat just to sit there for a week and just kind of go and document stuff and just go through the colonial or revolutionary stuff. Have you ever investigated, or you went to like a barracks or like an old colonial prison or anything that they had in the Revolutionary War? Did you ever do anything there?
Yeah, we've done several of them, in fact, and one of them was Fort Griswold, where Benedict Arnold, after he turned traitor, had all of that area attacked, Groton and everything.
Yeah.
In Norwich, and that one was a massacre where the American soldiers were like just killed. they decided, Colonel Ledyard, said, "We'll give you a quarter if you surrender," and he said no. And so they just went and massacred, and they even killed him after he surrendered his sword. So people have seen like ghosts in there, like the soldiers just wandering amok the property.
Tom, say that again. You said Benedict Arnold attacked that I know who that was, but I've never heard of this. So he when he turned traitor, he I know he joined the British because I know he went over to live in England, but afterwards, but he attacked our own troops.
Oh yeah, he said burn the whole town.
Really?
Yeah, they supposedly sat on a hill while all the troops came by. It came from off the boats and the ships and attacked the fort and burned half of the town. And yeah,
And who was the officer that surrendered their sword and they killed him?
his name was Colonel Ledyard.
Wow.
And the town Ledyard is named after him. And when they finally, they supposedly took a wagon of all the injured Continental soldiers and they rolled it down a hill into a tree.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, things like that. It was pretty brutal. They just
I,
kept
I
going.
honestly never heard of that. I heard that he tried to turn over Fort, or not Fort, but West Point. He tried to let the British into West Point. I read that, but I never knew that he did that. Man, what a jerk!
That was his hometown area too.
That was his home, and he did that.
His parents are buried in Norwich.
Wow, boy, mom and dad must have been really. That must have really. I can't even imagine that. That's horrible. Hey, Pete, what's going on there, buddy? Good to see you. Well, I mean, Tom, that's fascinating. Have you how much time have you spent up there looking at that stuff?
We've actually we've been to many of the forts, Fort Independence and a whole bunch of them, but like Fort Griswold, our friend Mike Carroll took a special interest in it, and because they thought there were catacombs below it, and they did find that there was a cellar beneath it, and they let us into the powder magazine and everything, so we did a lot of research on it as well for historical purposes.
Oh
And
no,
we love all that, the old forts and things like that.
you need to come out with a new book called Haunted Revolutionary.
Yeah, someone else came out with one, Ghosts of the Revolution, but with our newest book right now is Ghosts of King Philip's War
Uh huh.
and the French and Indian War. That's what we're writing right now.
That's okay. Well, I
So
mean, you can
it's
go
close.
back. Hey, you can go back and do your own revolutionary. Just because they did one, don't mean you can't.
Yeah, right. The thing with the King Philip's one, at least it was starting right from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, that's
And we
that's.
work our way up.
Well, I'm 59, and I never knew that Arnold did that. That's something I haven't read about. So I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to dig into that because
Yeah,
that.
Fort Griswold.
Yeah, I will. I got that written down in my notes right here, Tom. I appreciate you telling us about that tonight.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
No, that's crazy. Is what it is. I mean, that's just I can't even imagine that. So, well, give me your top three things over the years of all the books and all the things that you've done. Give me your top three. With number one being the thing that really impacted you the most.
Um, Well, the top three would be the incidents that happened when I first started investigating in 1982.
Okay.
The next one is basically when we do the dining with the dead things here at the places. They are very active. In fact, the public house is haunted. It was just voted the most haunted in the United States.
What? That's called the Public House.
Yeah, in Sturbridge, Mass.
Okay.
And the one that, and we also do the vampire stuff, but the one that really has impacted me has been that Ramtail Factory, the story behind this little mill village in Foster, Rhode Island, where the guy supposedly hanged himself after owing money and being bumped from the partnership into relegated to night watchman.
Really? Well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, but it's much more than that. I've been studying that for like 30 years, and it's been the most awesome thing. I mean, the deeds, I looked them up, and the 2 nights before he died, the partners signed over all his property to one of the partners, but they did it at 1 in the morning. And back in 1822, you only had candlelight to work with.
Wow.
Why would you be up at 1 in the morning doing that?
Yeah.
And then he's dead a day later.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
And then he wants the factory, and another guy who they took land from, he killed himself in the factory, and he haunts the remains of it. And people have seen the lantern light, and we've actually seen it. I've actually, with a friend of mine, seen just a glowing form moving about the ruins of the factory one night. It was amazing.
So and you got that on video?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
What we had on video for a documentary was the lantern light, though.
Yeah.
There was a documentary, Haunted Rhode Island.
Did
and
you
we're a part of it.
did you go back and see if you could debunk that?
Yeah, I've been there over 150 times.
How many times have you seen it, Tom?
The lantern light I've seen about 4.
Okay.
Um, we one night we were there, we actually heard what sounded like the creaking of a lantern, which had been a candle lantern, pass by us, and then pass by us again while we're 3 of us are standing there going, "What the heck is this?" And other people have attested to seeing this lantern light going up the path. It's just a glow, like a glow in about 3 feet, 4 feet off the ground, moving up the path.
Yeah. So I was reading some emails the other night, and I'm still digging into this. I don't know if this is just people trying to get attention or not, but they said somewhere out there between Maine on the East Coast that they see a light underneath the water, like 40, 50 yards offshore. That it goes into the cove and back and forth through the beach and then moves out. But it's like a big phosphorus, it's almost like a glowing little submarine that goes back and forth. Have you ever heard anything about that?
Could be the teaser light.
Can you
It could be
tell us?
Palatine light. If it's off of Block Island, it's the Palatine light. The teaser light would be more near Maine.
Okay, well it was around Maine. Can you tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, that was a ship that was blown up.
Really?
Yeah, with pirates when they used to, when they used to get in trouble and they were out running and they knew they were that was the end of it. They weren't gonna outrun. They'd light the powder magazine rather than been taken, humiliated, and hanged, and they just blow themselves up.
So they just blow the ship up.
Yeah,
And,
Sandy Gordon did that too to his ship out there.
wow. I mean, has that been going? I mean, have people been reporting that for years then, or?
Yeah, that's a pretty common story. The
Huh.
teaser light, the Dash is another one that people have seen. In fact, World War II, the ghost ship, the Dash, which disappeared around 1816
Uh huh.
in a storm, um, was the couple of some of the British and American soldiers. Of course, out there you got the old war forts that we did one of them on Jewel Island, which was really cool. And they were patrolling, and they saw this ship, and they started, running the horns and telling them to identify themselves. And then they started firing on it, and they said that both ships are doing this, and the shells are going right through it. And
Really?
then down in the corner, someone who was a guy, Homer Grimm, and his girlfriend was sitting on Pumpkin Nub Island. He saw it as it rounded the corner, and it said the Dash on it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Have you ever looked at like Coast Guard logs or anything to see if any of that's been reported?
That one was reported, yeah,
It
and I
was.
have. Yeah, that one was. You could not report it when you have like 150 people seeing it and they're shooting at it.
Wow, that's crazy. And what year was that?
That was during World War II.
That was during World War II.
Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, I
So,
know, huh?
and that was called the USS Dash.
Well, it was just a Dash.
The Dash.
Yeah, it was a really, really fast ship, and it was turned privateer during the War of 1812.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
I think in 1814 it disappeared. But they made another ship just like it because they figured, hey, this thing is fast, it's taking all kinds of prizes, let's build another.
Yeah.
And the two decided to race, but then a storm kicked up, and the Champlain, I think, was the other one. It didn't. It turned back, and the Dash kept going.
Yeah. Corey, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for watching tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Well, Tom, I got to tell you, I thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day to visit with us about this stuff.
Oh, this is awesome.
Where can people? What's the best way for them to look and find your books, or to follow some of the stuff that you're doing? How can folks do that?
Well, the books you can get on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all over the place. Like they're in stores everywhere. I go into CVS and I see them. I mean, Cracker Barrel, And you can also get them on our site, which is www.diningwiththedead.
Dining with the Dead.
1031.com.
I got you. Dining with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is that a vampire thing?
No, that's what we do when we go on dinners.
I'm just kidding you. I'm just
Yeah, I love the vampire stuff though, and they can also go to tomdagostino.com.
okay. TomDagostino.com. I got you. Well, listen. Do me a favor. If you guys are out doing stuff and something really crazy happens, or if you get, if you got some stuff, or you got, get a hold of me before the new book comes out, and I would love to have you back for an hour sometime this year, and just, but if something happens that's really crazy, get a hold of me, and we'll get you on right away.
Oh yeah, sure, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we do stuff because we use a lot of we mix the latest equipment with the oldest. We have digital recorders and spirit boxes,
Uh huh.
and sitting right beside them. We have old reel to reels from the 1960s.
I don't know about you, but like the old reel, I had a old reel to reel recorder, and I was able to pick up stuff on that stuff that I couldn't get on a digital recorder.
Because a digital recorder will only give so many kilobytes per second. It actually processes it digitally to analog back to digital.
Yeah.
But the reel-to-reel recorders, which run at 3.25 inch per second, picks up it's limitless. If there's a fly buzzing in the room,
Yeah.
the recorder will pick it up. Where the digital might say that's not important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scrap
That's.
that.
I agree
But
with.
that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I never got ghost stuff or anything, but as far as recording and stuff, I was always able to get more ambient sound with a reel to reel than anything else.
It still ranks as the #1 best medium for audio that we've ever invented.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you, man. Tom, it's been an absolute treasure, man. I appreciate it. Mike and the gang says to tell you thank you very much.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
so
It was
hope
so
we get
great.
we'll get some more people following you. And like I said, if you guys if something happens this summer or whatever when you're out doing something, just shoot me an email and I'll get back with you.
All right, definitely.
All right.
Most definitely.
It's been a pleasure, Tom. Have a great night, and you guys be safe.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
Bye-bye. Bye.
There he goes, Tom D'Agostino. What a nice guy, huh? I tell you what, I knew this was going to go quick tonight. That's going to wrap it up for this week. I want to thank Revelton Distillery down in Osceola. They are the official spirits of the Outdoor Call Unknown Files show. I want to thank all of you out there that always listen in and watch us on Facebook Live. Thank you very much. Couldn't do it without you. And, we'll do it again next Wednesday night. Till then, God bless you, and I will see you soon. Be safe. Night, everybody. Thank you.